make the presentation. And well, here is Diego.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Gabriel. Thank you for putting this together. Sorry for that I'm in the car. We're parking right now, so I should be okay with my signal. I just wanted to make a brief introduction and make sure everybody understands the format of the event. Here you are, a couple of distributors from the US, from different states. So we made sure that you don't compete with each other. I also want to make sure that everyone understands that these wines are first to market. They're currently in Argentina and they haven't been imported yet. We have everything ready and in motion. We shared with you this morning's updated rates in which you will find the USA pricing, which is FOB New Jersey. We will give the option to buy in state, but you will also find FOB Argentina pricing, that's the DI column through the Lovemark network. But at any point, you can also go ahead and talk to the wineries directly. So this is a very open format. In Lovemark, what we do is we do clearance for wineries. We've been doing this for a while. We are good at what we do, and everyone will be happy to welcome anyone into a network. But today is about the wineries and giving them the platform to meet professional distributors. I'm very happy with the lineup that we have today. I think we even went beyond our expectations. You guys are all great. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Victoria, from the CFI, for making this possible too. And without further ado, I want to introduce Veronica, which is our professional sommelier that will be leading the tasting today. I ask everyone to self-moderate. So if you are in a noisy environment, please make sure you mute yourselves. Unmute yourselves. Remember to unmute yourselves if you're going to make a question or we're not going to listen to you. And I hope everyone enjoys. Okay, any questions, please let us know. Thank you so much.
Hello, thank you. Hi, everyone. I am Veronica Couturier, the US and Canada area manager for Wines in Argentina. I have been with our Wines of Argentina for about 3 years, going on year 4. And I'm here to you, in a sense, to present these wines to you without bias. As a regional representative, I embrace all Argentinian wines, and I'm here to support the marketing, communications, and sales of all our wines here. So when we're tasting these wines, I'm going to show, if my face shows something, please do not take it as a bias. I am unbiased presenter of these wines. But the materials that I have today, we can share with you. And if you need more information to help you make the decisions on the wines that you want to bring forth, Wines of Argentina does have big stacks of information, if you will. So everything can be found on our website. And once I'm done with the presentation, I will put my email if you need additional resources in order to help you buy/sell these wines in the US market. And note that I'm being based here in Chicago in the US. I am also a resource for you if you need assistance with Argentinian wines. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to give you a brief presentation of Argentina. And if it's a little redundant, I apologize, but I'd like to give a point of reference before tasting these different wines from the 5 different wineries we have today. So very basic overview of Argentina is basically just the position. We're positioned between the 22nd and 55th parallel. Why is that important? Because winemaking happens between the 30th and 50th degrees of latitude. So we extend beyond those. We do have a dichotomy in Argentina, arid deserts to rich forests, vast lands to glaciers. So we're a very diverse ecosystem, but that's simply because of the range of Argentina and how long we run across South America and our latitudes. Basically, our points of reference are our terroirs are extensive and diverse. Our altitude is something that we talk a lot about, whether we're in Patagonia or Cafayate up in the north. Our climate is extremely dry and continental. Soils are very low and fertile, which is great for thriving vines. They need to stress, and we do stress them in our region. Water purity, all our water comes from the melt of the Andes. So it's very natural water source. And we have a strong commitment from wine producers in making the best wines that they're making right now in our time. Basically, we definitely have a strong commitment from our Argentine winemakers. They're developing their own identity, increasing in terroir, and you'll see it through the tasting. They combine, tradition with innovative and new technology. They're working on new projects to discover new terroirs, and we're really on the breakthrough of the really emerging GIs. We actually have 102. So people typically think of Argentina as a monovarietal, monolithic country. We have 102 GIs. MALBEC is a leading varietal that we have we produce 200 varietals in Argentina successfully. So just to give you a little background. Just some quick figures for you. We are the 5th largest producer of wine in the world, the 7th largest cultivated surface, I should say, and the 10th largest exporter of wine. Just so you know, we consume a lot of our wine. We're big drinkers. We're just behind Paris as far as consumption of wine. So we drink what we make, and the U.S. market is just a nice place for other wines. We're trying to experiment and grow in the country. Again, you know, and this is just, again, very simplistic view of Argentina. We have more materials for you to go forward with the tasting. We are divided in 4 major regions. And basically, we have the north, where you see the little N up there, which is Jujuy, Salta, Tucumán, and Catamarca. We don't have any wines from there today, but we do have wines from Cuyo, which is in the center of the country. That's La Rioja, which is not the same as Rioja from Spain, San Juan, and Mendoza. And Mendoza is the area we're going to focus on today, as most of our wines are from there. And we're also going to focus a little bit on Patagonia. And Patagonia is comprised of La Pampa, Neuquén, Rio Negro, and Chubut. And our newest wine region is the Atlantic, which is really the region of Buenos Aires. And they have really new and innovative wine techniques that they're experimenting with out there. So the north, we're really going to skip this part because we don't have wines from this region, but just to give you some information about how high we go in production and altitude, we are upwards of 10,922 feet above sea level in production of wine, which again, this represents about 3%. This region only represents about 3% of the wine production. So very interesting, very diverse, cooler climates. But again, just you know, just to give you some information about the lay of the land. Altitude plays a big role in all our regions, and not just in the north. And I'm presenting this map right before we get to Cuyo. And the reason why is because our country is basically, we run along the Andes from the highest point of Aconcagua down to Patagonia. And basically what happens with the Andes, we have decreased temperatures the higher you go, but you also have lots of soil change compositions between alluvial and colluvial soils as you get down the mountain, and you have the impacts of solar radiation in the north and in the south of Argentina. So a lot of factors that impact the wines that you're going to be tasting today and the styles that are coming out of Argentina. Cuyo, again, this is where we're going to focus on today because basically 4 of the 5 wineries we're tasting are from the Cuyo region. And Cuyo just means basically desert land, is a Huarpe dialect. So you can imagine this is a very dry desert where we're producing wine, but mainly we have to find oases of water, right? Because the vines do need to thrive. So this is the area that basically produces 95% of the wine that comes out of Argentina. Quite an extensive region. And within that Cuyo region, we have Mendoza. Again, this is our focus today. And one of the things I want to point out about Mendoza is the diversity of altitude within the production, anywhere between 1,400 to 6,500 feet above sea level. The rainfall is very limited. We're getting about 220 milliliters, which is less than an 8-ounce bottle of water per year in rain. So we must irrigate, and our irrigation source is the Andes melt. And again, we have a lot of diversity. And one of the things I want to mention here in regards to altitude, which again also impacts Patagonia, even though it's a flatter land. For every 155 meters we go up the mountain, we have a 1 degree Celsius drop in temperature. So even though it's a desert climate, the higher you go up, the colder it gets, the more acidity you're going to find in the wine, right? So it's going to be more refreshing. So the higher up the mountain you go, the more refreshing the wine's going to taste. So when you're tasting these wines, again, we try to figure out where they're from just based on their style, right? And then again, just to break down Mendoza, because Mendoza today, as I mentioned, we have in Argentina 102 geographical indicators. Mendoza is divided into 5 areas and further geographical indicators. I'm not going to bore you with that information today, but it is important for you to know as you're actually looking to the wines that you're looking to buy and how you're going to sell them to market, right? And again, we do have the tools to help you sell them to market. So that's what our role is at Wines of Argentina, to help you, give you the knowledge that you need to help move those wines from the gondolas at the store or the virtual gondola. When we do look at Mendoza, we have the 5 areas of South Mendoza, Valle de Uco, and we have some wines from Valle de Uco. I'm not going to break this map down further. Primera Zona, which is Luján de Cuyo, we do have wines from there, North Mendoza and East Mendoza. So again, when we think about Mendoza as a distributor level, not sure how familiar or how in depth you've got, but we have gotten very, very niche when it comes to terroirs and identifying terroirs and GIs within the region. One more time. And then we're going to talk about Patagonia. We do have one winery that we have that is based in Patagonia. What's interesting about Patagonia is it's our lowest altitude. Basically, the wine regions are about the altitude as Burgundy, so about 300 meters or 300 feet above sea level, and in most of the wine region. And what's interesting here, even though we're really far south, again, we have a lot of sunlight, right? So we have big diurnal, ideal conditions for ripening fruit, right? Because we have a lot of sunshine that really enriches the photosynthesis of the vines. Oops, sorry, something is jumping on my screen that I don't want to jump. Bear with 1 second. I can't get that. There you go. There you go. Perfect. So that's my little brief spiel. Again, I gave you Argentina in about 3 minutes. So again, I don't want to take up all your time, but I do want to give you perspective. I can and will share more information. But that being said, I want to move on to the actual wines that we're tasting because we mentioned different regions. So I'm going to go ahead and share with you. We're going to go in the order that was given to us in that presentation that Gabriel sent this morning. And I'm going to make reference for the pricing. Again, I don't have to do anything with pricing. I'm just here to represent Argentina. So any questions about pricing have to go to Lovemark and Gabriel, who is actually on the call. But we're first going to start with GRAN AMANSADO blend from the AMANSADO line. And where I don't know how you guys are set up at home in your home offices. What I'm doing, I'm going to taste one winery at a time. I've served myself 6 wines or 2 wineries, and then I'm going to pause, dump, and refill. Okay, just to give you the lay of how we're going to taste these 12 wines. But first, I want to give you a little information about AMANSADO before we tasted. This winery was founded in 2012 by the Brennan family. They're located in that little map where I said Primera Zona, which is Luján de Cuyo, which is very interesting. That was really the area in which Mendoza was born. That's what we refer to as Primera Zona. So most of the wineries coming out are very old because they've been there from the beginning of time. And the winemaker is Juan Pablo Michelini, and they seek minimal intervention and very sensitive intuitive analogy. So again, very interesting wines coming here, very boutique line wines. The Malbec and Cab comes from Perriel special line, and there are 2 different wines. One is Cabernet de Sed, Cabernet Sauvignon 100% made with carbonic maceration. That basically has explosive fruit and light and low alcohol. And the other hand, you have the YUNTA terroir line, which we're going to taste today, which will be the blend of 2 of the best regions of Mendoza, where they make 100% Malbec co-fermented, and Perriel and Hualtachari, which again, Hualtachari is in Valle de Uco in one of the little signs that I showed you in the map. So the first wine we're going to taste, again, it's a GRAN AMANSADO blend. Do you have it in your glass? I don't like to drink by myself. Everyone, or if you don't, taste it later. One thing that I want to say, please, and I know you all work with wine, but it's very important. You need to chill down these wines. I'm not saying put them cold, but these wines are high in alcohol. They're hot. I will tell you personal experience. I opened them up just to taste them, and I could not enjoy them. Put them in the fridge for about 20 minutes. Then I got the profile that I was looking for. So anytime you're doing a seminar selling, please chill down these wines. It's very important. And I'm not saying chill, just bring them down to room temperature. Point of reference, room temperature back when we didn't have heating and cooling, or tapestries on the wall. So room temperature is not 70 degrees. And so we have to really chill down these wines so that they can have the best expressions of themselves. But here they do tell us in Celsius what temperature to serve these wines. Otherwise, they really are not expressing what they should be expressing. So we're going to try the AMANSADO blend. This one is the blend de tintos. It's 50-50 cab sauv. So I chill down my wines, I will say, so that I can enjoy them. And by the way, if anyone wants to jump in, please do just raise your hand. I think, do we have the hand option or whatever option we have? Or I'm not paying attention to the chat, but if there's something in the chat, Gabriel, if you can just let me know and I'll answer. But let's taste this wine. My notes. So this the vineyards here, they're from La Iroca, Banco de Lulunta near Mendoza, and Finca Los Elsis near Luján de Cuyo as well. Am I the only one tasting? Yes, okay. So again, this wine, it's a very pretty wine we have. I'm just going to read the tasting notes because, again, I'm not going to show any personal bias or interpretation of the wine. Basically, deep blue color, live red reflects. One of the things about Luján de Cuyo, you have a lot of violet notes, and that's something just we know from their experimentation of MALBEC in Argentina. So just to give you a hint, some of the notes I have. So the higher, basically when you get warmer climate, you're going to get more spice and herbal fruits. So you get a lot of spice, but you also get those violet notes as well. This is a nice dry wine, basically pairs with red meat, barbecue. You guys can refer to the price point on your presentation, but this is a very elegant wine, very, very fun. Yeah, but very meaty wine, I guess. Really, it's a lot of balance acidity, but it's really asking for some fat on the palate.
Veronica, sorry, we cannot see the wines. You were sharing the previous screen.
Oh,
So
you're right. I'm so sorry. I'm going to stop and reshare. Sorry, because I went in there and I did not reshare. So let me come back and reshare. I have to stop and reshare. Thank you. Yeah, that's the only problem. Stop and reshare. So I'm here. This is what we're tasting right now. Apologize. I was looking at it, but you weren't.
Perfect now. Thank you.
Thank you. So this one was rated, obviously, by some people, you know, Descorchado is a publication in Argentina, James Suckling, Tim Atkins. So these are really high reputable wines in themselves. Very pretty, all aged in French oak. You can taste that. It's very subtle. It has a very elegant tannin. The next one I'm gonna taste is, okay, so that was the 50-50 Cab Merlot. The next one is gonna be the vintage 2019 Malbec. And I'm gonna take my notes here. So again, this one is from Mendoza, and I will let you know, if I also made some reference to bottles and cases for you to know. This GRAN AMANSADO blend, it produces about 3,000 bottles. So again, when we say boutique, really is boutique wine. So about 3,000 bottles of this wine that are made. The next one we're going to taste from the same line, the same winery, is the 2019 Malbec. And again, note, if you're not tasting now, if you're tasting later, please chill down these wines to proper room temperature so you can really enjoy them. Otherwise, you won't. That goes for any red wine. Oh, this is a beautiful fruit. So you have, it's so funny because I'm at a dark table, so I can't really see the color. Meaning I can see the color, but it's supposed to be, I guess I could put it on my paper. It is a beautiful color wine. It is red fruits, plums. I don't want to say true because it has a negative connotation, but it's very appealing on the palate, I should say, and a very nice balanced acidity. A very pretty wine. This wine also rated by Robert Parker, Descorchados, again, very famous Argentine publication. This one also production is limited. It's about 10,000 bottles or less than about 833 cases. So again, very boutique line. And it's, again, the winemaker Juan Pablo Micherini. So very, very nice stuff that he's going out of there. And again, easy, innovative, and little manipulation, right? So he wants to express more the terroir, if you will, of the region. And as you understand Argentina more, you will be able to actually kind of put it all together. And then we have the last one from the, oops, let me go this way, of the AMANSADO wines, which is YUNTA. And YUNTA, this YUNTA MALBEC, it's a blend of terroirs, of two different terroirs, which is Gualtallarí and Perdriel, right? So you have, these are two IGs that you can find on the map. And again, that's why when we talk about Mendoza as a whole, it's very generic. We really have new GIs that are very specific because the soil compositions are very varied from another region. So if you go a couple 100 feet, for example, in one single space, you may have different soil competitions, which lends to different situations for vine growing. So as you become more familiar with the geography of Argentina, the goal is, even for myself, to get closer to identifying where it's from. But this wine here, again, 100% Malbec, and it blends two terroirs. This one, I will say, a 5,500 cases, 5,500 bottle production. So again, small production, so about 450 cases. Very boutique wine. And this winery is also very big on raising horses. That's why you see the horse on the label. Again, big, beautiful wine. Again, these wine, it's funny, they're all different. Well, this one actually is a blend of two different regions. So you get, it's the mouth, it's acidity, minerality, it's a good mouth feel. It's, I just taste a lot of nice acidity, nice acidity in the wine. I feel it also on the back palate. It makes me want to drink some more. It's not, yeah, it's again, it's definitely something that you can, eat with pasta. I guess I'm not craving so much red meat as I'm craving pasta with this wine. Very elegant wine. Again, only 5,500 bottles produced, so for about 450 cases. So very boutique winery coming out of Argentina. Young winemaker. Again, really respecting the sense of terroir and minimal intervention in wine production, which is nice. It's good for probably, again, a younger consumer who's thinking, who is more a little bit eco-friendly or trying to, has a different style of, just authenticity to the wine. So it's very nice. Now the next line, now we're going to move to Patagonia, the part of the south of the map. This area of Patagonia is called La Pampa. And La Pampa is very dry, arid land, a lot of agriculture. And this area of this particular winery was founded in 2001, so relatively young, about 20 years old. And we say young because it takes some time to actually have a successful vineyard. So basically, they were just able to see this untapped land in Alto Valle del Rio Colorado. And again, in the northern part of Patagonia, not a lot of wineries out there. And the vision was complemented by qualifying basically these entrepreneurs with some courageous group of experts to try to put it all together. And they built up a property or a vineyard in a small town named 25 de Mayo, 25 of May, in the province of La Pampa. That's why the line, if you it's Desierto 25. Desierto means desert, right? The Pampas is really desert, like there's really not much. They call it La Pampa because there's really not much out there. It's really vast terrain. And basically, they started making, in this new area, they started making Cabernet, Cabernet Franc, Merlot, Syrah, and Chardonnay vines. But in 2003, they started planted Malbec, Pinot Noir, Sauvignon Blanc, and Viognier varietals. They were added in there. And now they started bringing the vineyards to a full 140 hectares. So they have a lot of land, and they started using French barrels. They brought them in from France. I should say oak barrels from France and the U.S. And they set up a facility that now measures 2,500 square feet, dedicated to production and storage. So this little place in La Pampa, in 25 de Mayo, it's about 2,500 foot facility, and they're making wine out of there. So it's very interesting. So let's taste the wine. Let's see. So again, La Pampa. So the wine we're tasting is again, oh, sorry, I have them in the wrong order. Sorry, good thing I checked. We're tasting the Desierto Cabernet Franc. One of the things to know, again, if you guys are big Cab, we have really great Cab Franc coming out of Argentina, pretty much any part of Argentina. Again, Malbec does great in Argentina simply because we have 250 days of sunlight. We do have the original French plantings that came from Bordeaux pre-phylloxera. Once phylloxera hit, killed all the vines in France, but we still have the originals, if you will. So the original rootstock, because we never infected by phylloxera. But this one is our Cab Franc. So it's funny, and I'll say what's funny. Anytime I drink Cab Franc, I always get green pepper. Green pepper is prolific in Cab Franc, and I don't get that. I do get that cheater. I do get that cedar. I get strong cedar, but it's a really nice nice balance. It's not green, right? Again, Cab Franc tends to have this green note, herbaceous. Again, green pepper. This doesn't have it. This very, very elegant. Again, more fruit driven. Very nice one. This wine spends about 70% of the wine spends time in both French and American barrels. The blend of those, because it's not too prolific. Like if you had that American, it's a very pretty one, very pretty one. The other wine we're going to taste is the next one is the Desierto 25 Malbec. Normally would have put the Malbec before the Cab Franc, by the way, but I'm just since we're tasting by winery, it's kind of hard to go in particular order here. So this Malbec, let's see. They are the grapes arrive at the winery, and within the hour they're introduced to stainless steel tanks. The cold maceration for 3 days, and on the 4th day they're inoculated with their yeast. So again, they move pretty quick here. As soon as they take them up, they put them in tanks. So quick as. Again, different. When you go to this Malbec, this one seems a little rounder, a little more fruit. They say red plums, and in blackberries, I pick up more red plum and more red fruit in here. But it's really, really it's a very mouth-filling wine. So it just the acidity is nice, but it's not too abrasive. It really is a very elegant flowing wine. Again, this one, again, like I said, 70% of the wine touches French and American oak, and for about 9 months. Very well done. Again, very different Malbec styles, just simply one. It's not even just oak use, because they both use oak, but also just the climate and the terroir difference on the wines. This one has the level of wood is more pronounced, I guess, of oak than the other. But stylistically, I have more red fruit being expressed here than on the AMANSADO line. So very different style. Now we're gonna get to the big boy. This one spends 100. They call it. I apologize for not flipping the screen there. So we just tried the Malbec, and now we're gonna do. We just tried the Desierto 25. Now we're gonna do the Desierto Pampa. This one spends 100% of the wine spends time in oak, and they spent 18 months in oak here, as opposed to the 9 months that we've seen before. So this should be the big boy out of this Desierto line. So let me go here. So that's a fruit fly is coming in my house already, because I have open wine. So let's taste the Desierto Pampa. Again, I get a lot of chocolate on that. I get a lot of Chaco, a lot of cedar, a lot of, it's big. It's, you know, it's funny. And I say this because I do drink non-Argentinian wine. You know, one of the things when people go to a steakhouse, right? It's I won't ask for the big fat cab. You can ask for a big fat Malbec, right? I mean, these are really meaty wines. These are some of these, depending on where you're at, like this particular Malbec, it's very heavy, very big, quite a high amount of alcohol. So it really is something that, you know, an alternative, an alternative to an American cab is to the Argentinian cab. But you can also play with, you know, we are a big churrasco country. We are big steak eaters. This is what we drink. This is in our blood, in a sense, right? So why not, you know, as a tool for sales, why not put some that kind of Malbec on a steakhouse, right? Along with your traditional cab from any part of the world, right? So again, very big style, but very well balanced. Again, it's dark because of the oak. It's lots of cocoa on there, but really nice dark fruit on that as well. So I'm going to stop right here for a minute and see if anyone has any questions about these two wineries. And Gabriel, I am not sure if there's a winery rep from either of these wineries on the call, and I can help them if it needs translation. But if anyone has any question about these wines aside from the price.
Can you repeat, Veronica? Sorry.
Yeah, I said, Gabriel, do we have anyone from these two wineries on the line?
On the line?
Yeah, and our call.
En la llamada.
En la llamada. ¿Tenemos alguien de la bodega acá en la llamada o no?
Yes, we have from Bodega del Desierto.
Would it be okay if we... la persona de Bodega del Desierto habla inglés o español? Y si quiere presentar algo o quiere decir algo.
Hablo inglés y español.
Oh, perfecto. Now we have someone here from Desierto de la Pampa. If anyone has questions specifically directed to Desierto de la Pampa, or if you would like to add something about your wines here. Again, as I am an apolitical, unbiased source.
Veronica, I have just a very small question.
Sure.
I maybe I missed, but what is the meaning of 25 in Desierto?
25 because of 25 de Mayo, where the winery is located in Patagonia.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
So
the
it's
town.
Mhm.
The town.
25 de Mayo is the address, actually, the physical address.
Okay.
A quick question. Who sells your wines in Washington, D.C.? I'm sorry I came in late on the call, but who sells your wines in Washington, D.C.?
Good question. Does someone, Gabriel, do you know that answer? Who sells Desierto de Pampa? Or did you mean Desierto de Pampa or AMANSADO?
I'm sorry, the Desierto de Pampa.
Oh, Desierto de Pampa.
No one.
Gabriel?
Nobody is selling the wine right now in DC. You are from Lebanese Tavern Group, right?
That is correct.
Yes, we have another distributors that will try the wines tomorrow, and they can sell direct to you. Or even we have some distributors in Washington, and we can organize the clearance to sell it to your restaurants.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right. I'm going to give you, if anyone is tasting with me, I have an assistant changing up my wines right now. But if you need a minute or do you need me, we can move on to the next one, the next winery. Let me show you. The next winery, one second. Like I have to line up my wines here so I know I'm not messing up my wines with my glasses here. Okay, so the next winery is YUNTA. Now YUNTA is from, it's a native language that means western winds, and in the sense from the Andes. So this is adding on from the Calyptra line from Chile. Actually, Calyptra line from Chile. Are you familiar with Calyptra from Chile? Not so much, but so I wasn't familiar. But this winemaker, it's very I have the winemaker's name here. It's let's see, it's the winemaker. Excuse me, let me look at my notes here. Am I getting this right here? Before I misspeak, I'm just double checking my notes here. No, we're going to skip that for a second. Yeah, it's the winemaker is Bernardo Bossi, and he's a highly praised winemaker at YURRACA. Basically, he makes very well-respected wines. And he has worked with wineries such as Catena Zapata, Ernesto Zapata, Casa Arena, and Los Toneles. So lots of our winemakers are really well skilled. They've kind of hopped around in Argentina, and they're really fantastic, fantastic winemakers. But this idea, YURRACA, was conceived in 2015. The idea of Calyptra in Argentina to basically as a product extension line from the Calyptra line in Chile. Okay, and so they wanted to add Malbec to their line. So where else to go get it but Argentina, where we are renowned for our Malbecs. So this Malbec comes from Valle de Uco in Mendoza. Again, notice the points. Again, everyone who has points put points. If they don't, sometimes they're not rated. It doesn't mean that it's better because they got points or not. Some of these wineries may have not submitted, but again, if we have points, obviously a great selling tool in the US because a lot of the buyers do buy according to points. So the first one we're going to taste is a YURRACA 100% Malbec from the Calyptra line. It's a 2018 Estate Malbec. Again, and I mentioned this is Valle de Uco. Valle de Uco is a cooler climate because you're going up the mountain. So again, for every 155 feet, you go up, sorry, every 155 meters, you go up the mountain, you have a 1 centigrade drop in temperature. So again, you're going to get a little more acidity the higher you go up the mountain, right? Even though you think you're higher to the sun, but colder. So you're going to get more acidity in that wine. So let's taste this one. Oh yeah. This is purple. Yeah, purple. I said purple. And my color, my head works in color. So I say green for herbaceous, purple is violet, right? So again, my brain works in color sometimes when I talk about wine. But this is definitely lots of fruit on the palate. Very ripe. It's funny because I said you should have it's a little more refreshing, right? It's a balanced acidity, but it's, I don't know, the expression is it's not hot on the palate, right? It's a beautiful full body wine. Yeah, tannins are very flush, very fine, very fruit driven wine. It's not overly extracted. It's just very ripe and enjoyable. This one it's about 18 months and not in second use oak. That's why it's so subtle. You don't have that sharp cedar notes because they're second use barrels. But very elegant wine. This one's a very easy drinking for just for most consumers. I would say those people that say I like dry but they drink sweet, you can get away with this type of wine because there's so much fruit on the palate. It's very nice wine. And again, notice the serving temperature. Again, I've refrigerated all my wines, so that's why I'm enjoying them. If they're not, you're not going to have the same experience. So please. I know winemakers put that on there on purpose. It is on purpose because otherwise you will not enjoy their wine. The next wine we're going to taste is the YURRACA GRAN Malbec 2015. And again, it's funny when you see the points, you see who's rating them and you see what they're going for in the style and why they fit a certain profile and demographic, right? So this is the YURRACA. The next one is the YURRACA GRAN Malbec. Take a look. Yeah, I did not. Obviously, I did not decant my wine. I had 12 wines, but I've had it open for about 2 hours. Let's see. Oh, that's just perfumey. Let's see. Again, very soft. They say plum, blueberry, cedar, and cocoa. But it takes a while. The cedar takes a little bit to come in. I do get the fruit, and I get the fruit first coming in. I guess a little. It's funny they call it vanilla, but it's really called vanillin. It's not vanilla. It's vanillin. It comes from the oak. That's very pretty, very soft tannins. I want to say, even though it's a big wine, it's more feminine wine, just because it's so velvety and soft on the tongue. It just really rolls off the back of your mouth. And it just very, again, those plush tannins, again, very velvety. But again, the style that James, again, every time he rates wine, like, you can kind of anticipate what that wine's going to be. Lots of fruit, soft tannins, and big on alcohol. But these are the things that we as American consumers, or I feel myself one of them, right? Even though I'm Argentinian, these are the kind of wines that we drink, we consume, and are just deliver great quality. Question from, I'm not sure your name because I can see, but question, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at your notes. Your notes say 2018. The bottle I have is a 2015. I don't know.
It is 2015. Sorry, it is 2015. The notes, yeah. You know, oh, look at the updated one. Oh, you know, the one I printed, you know what? The one that's in my, it's funny. I said 2015 here, but 2018 on my screen. I'm sorry. Oh, no. Oh, where you, it is 20. Oh, okay. On the bottle, if you look on the bottle itself, I think it was just a typo. Because on the bottle shot itself is 2015. It's just when they repopulated the title on top, it's 2018, but it is 2015.
Okay.
Just a typo. It's correct on the bottle, incorrect on the text up in the upper right-hand corner. Thank you for catching that, by the way.
Veronica, I have a question. What is the difference, or what would establish the difference between the two YURRACas?
Oh, the YURRA, the estate, the estate and the GRAN MALBEC. The GRAN MALBEC is basically, it's aged longer. If you notice, the estate MALBEC is basically bottled in-house, which at the bottled in 2018, so it's a newer vintage. The GRAN MALBEC is just an aged wine, if you will.
Oh, longer aged, okay.
Longer
In oak, yeah, on oak on the bottle.
In oak, it looks here, I'm looking here. I would imagine that the thing is that the oak is so subtle. I am wondering if they're still using second use oak or not. You know what, Ricardo, I will get back to you on that, okay? I'm gonna make a note to get back to you.
Okay, so, but it looks like the other YURRA is not, it has no oak, is that correct?
No, it's an oak, but it's second use oak. So what it is, it's very subtle. So you're gonna get, what happens in the second use, you have less elements of the oak making contact with the juice. So
Yes,
it's there, but it's second use barrels.
Okay, so the YURRA, the GRAN MALBEC is new oak.
Well, but the thing is so subtle again, the oak. I'm gonna taste them again. I would imagine it could be the second use, but older time in barrels, right?
Okay.
But that's something that we can ask the winemaker. I don't know, if, Gabriel, do we have someone from YURRA on the call that could help us answer that?
No, not right now.
No. Okay, Ricardo, I will make a point to get that
that's fine.
on the oak uses and the YURRA. But again,
That's
it's
fine.
so subtle. You know,
That's fine. No, that's
and
fine.
it is second use on the first, so I would imagine it could be just second use, but longer. Oh, let me look at the bottle itself.
Yeah,
Anyway, Ricardo, after the event, we will make the follow-up and we will give you all the information that you need.
By the way,
that's
I
fine.
think it's on the back
With
of
the
the bottle. I
wineries.
can answer that for you. It is añejado en barrica, so it is aged in 12 to 18 months in French oak
With the GRAN MALBEC?
with the GRAN MALBEC. Mhm.
Okay. No, that's fine. Don't,
Yeah.
just
But it's
a
also
question.
because of the aging, right? So
Yes.
yeah.
Now, did you say Caliptra is a Chilean winery?
Caliptra, yes, Chilean winery. They were looking to expand their line to have Malbec. So they went to Argentina. So it's an
Okay.
Argentinian wine with origins in Chile, as far as the original concept, born of Chile, if you will.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. And then we have another winery here, URRACA. I will tell you, URRACA, there's only one line because they do have some distribution in the US, but just to give you a little background, Viñedos URRACA was founded in 26 with the vision of John Langley, he's a film producer. It's funny, I was gonna go look him up, but I can't think of it. But he's a film producer. We wanted to produce wines of distinct style. What if someone can mute themselves? Because I'm here, Michael. Okay, thank you. And basically, they started making wine in the vineyards of Agrelo, which is Luján de Cuyo, which is in that Primera Zona, which is where most of the wineries when they started were from, if you will. And the vineyard is actually managed by Marcelo Casasa, and he's a viticultural agronomist who also advised or worked with Michel Rolland as a fine winemaker. Michel Rolland has been in Argentina, pretty much everywhere all over the world, helping wineries make wine. So they're basically, but the actual winemaker is Walter Brescia, who is why we recognize as one of the top wine makers in Argentina. And this wine is 100% aged in French and American oak, more than 12 months. And this 2014 limited edition is an example of formulation of concept using different types of oak. It's limited edition due to its characteristic of use of oak trees, maintaining the typical Malbec to allow access to many markets and age, right? So we'll have one wine from them because I know they do some, on other line, they do some work in Canada, Mexico, Brazil, Uruguay, Peru, Hong Kong, and a little bit in the US, but not with this particular product. So this is the limited edition. And again, French and American oak, 12 months. I didn't note down how many bottles were made of that one, but let's take a look. I would imagine not many since it's limited. Yeah, I could say rich ripe style, big plum. I guess I do pick up on the fig. You know, I read the notes and I'm like, sometimes I don't pick up what they say, but I do pick up on that fig. It's very round, right? Very round the palate. The finish, you get the barrel on the finish, right? I actually, it's in the tip of my tongue now. I didn't get it, you know, I got all the fruit coming back on my back palate. That's a very pretty wine. Again, found it's about 14.3% alcohol. This has some aging potential, can drink through 2028. So this is a wine you can hang on to, see how it evolves, but it's easy enough, it's enjoyable now. It's interesting to see what it would, you know, if you give another 10 years, see how that would be, or no, I mean, what a year, 21, 7 more years to see what that would be, but that's a very elegant wine as well. And again, this one comes from Agrelo, which is in Luján de Cuyo, or the Primera Zona of Mendoza, right? So again, I mentioned 102 GIs. Once you realize where they're coming from, you can kind of gauge the style of the wine that you're going to be consuming in your glass. And last but not least, and then we are opening up the questions to Lovemark for availability of product and anything else. The next one we have is from the Carelli line. And Bodega Carelli, this is the 6th generation of winemaking. The actual building was from, I think, 1855 that they're in, so really old building. But again, 6 generations of making wine. So basically it's the son, Enrique Carelli, who continues incorporating new technology with winemaking. So yeah, 1855 was the day that they actually, the building that they're actually at. So they've been there for a long, the family has planted 140 acres in 5 different fincas or viticulture areas within Mendoza. And they drip irrigate their vineyards. They protect against hailstorms. If you are familiar with Mendoza, we can get violent hailstorms that can damage crops. So they use they do have protections, the toldas we call them, to protect the vines. And they balance again technology and innovation in their winemaking process. So let's try. They have 3 wines here. We have the first one drink is CARLA CHIARO MALBEC. So let me double check that the vintage is 2018, and it matches the top. It does. All right, so this one is, and I don't know if you, this one is the Reserva, the 2018 Reserva that we're tasting first. And the reason being, because one of the nights I'm lining up my wines here, 2018. Should have been, I would have probably put the other one first, but and again, so we're not going necessarily in tasting order within the winery since we've already kind of not really gone within tasting order. It's very, you know, they're all big red wines. So we'll be generic. We'll keep it like that. So, CARLA CHIARO MALBEC. And this wine again is they make the wine in Uco Valley in the area of San Carlos and La Consulta. There is it is refreshing. It's funny, right? When you put it in your palate, if you've tasted the wine, it has a refreshing quality. Like it's red fruit. What do they say? Do they say red fruit? For me, I get red fruit on that. It has been kept in French and American barrels, but I would imagine they're second use because I don't pick up a lot of oak on that wine, meaning I pick up a lot of fruit. When I'm looking at the bottle, if they tell us anything. But again, here I get red fruit on the palate. There is an acidity in there coming, and then there's a tannic structure. I guess it is so because I get it on the size of my tongue. I apologize for taking my tongue out at you. But it's a pretty wine. It says dark fruit, but no, I get red fruit in the front. But really good spice. It is the spice. But one of the things I said about spice earlier, the higher you go up the mountain, basically the warmer the climate, you're going to get more spice on the palate in the Malbec, which is very interesting. They have done studies within different regions of the country with standardizing the process of Malbec production. So about a group of 20 wineries in different viticultural areas of Argentina. And they found out that you have different, you have white pepper as you have higher altitude, more floral when you go lower altitude. If it's higher in temperature, you get more eucalyptus. So they've done these amazing studies on what kind of styles you can protect from different parts. And so it's very interesting to see again that I get why they say dark fruit. I get more red fruit in the palate, but I do get that spiciness, right? The spiciness that comes from the soil and the climate. Very interesting. The next one we're going to taste from Bodegas Carelli are, my palate's nice. Let me here. It's I'm reading it from here because the top of my Zoom screen is covering it up. This is Madero. This is a 2009 Malbec. So let me clear my way here. So this one is from the region of Rivadavia. I probably didn't hear it in the presentation. This is part of East Mendoza again. So here the climate is, we're further away from the mountain, right? So the further away from the mountain, the sandier the soil, the closer to the mountain, the rockier the soil. So again, the different stress levels for the vine, the different amount of water soaked up by the vine. But this one is in East Mendoza in the region of Rivadavia.
Hello, Veronica. And Enrique Carelli is talking.
Enrique, oh please, I'm gonna open the floor to you.
Thank you very much for this presentation. You're doing a great job, and thank you all for being present today. Yes, in Carelli Madero we have some grapes that came from Uco Valley as well. We do use both terroirs. We have grapes from Uco Valley and from the Primera Zona region. So it's a wine that you might have some grapes from upper regions as well. Just that, no, you can keep going.
Oh, I have a question since I have you on, because when I was looking at CARLA CHIARO, it's San Carlos, La Consulta, that area over there. When I was looking at the Madero line, I noticed it was Rivadavia. So is this the Madero a blend of East Mendoza?
That's what I don't know if you got it, but that's what I was saying, that gotcha. In Madero we do use grapes from Uco Valley as well.
Perfect, wonderful, perfect. Yeah, so it's the blend of the two terroirs.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like we had another one, but yeah, it wasn't from East Mendoza. So you want to talk to us a little bit about this wine? And
well, this is a new brand. We launched this brand 2 years ago, and we just got an award at the Canter magazine in UK, and I sent the link by the chat of the Zoom. So if you want to go into, we are presenting this brand for the States. Nobody has this brand in the States yet. The CARLA CHIARO is being sold, and the 34 is as well in the market already. But the Madero is a brand new, and I think we have developed a great balance between quality and price at this range. It has a heavy bottle, iconic bottle, and with a great presentation. We like the label, and well, I hope you enjoy the wine as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Then we're going to taste one more of your wines. Yours is and it's funny, Vino Fino Tinto Seco, 34, and the 34 is because it's at the 34th latitude, right?
No. That's the history of the winery, because my grandfather used to work at the fruit market, and with his brothers, his brother and some comrades bought a lottery ticket in 1942 for the Christmas raffle, and they won the raffle with the number 34. So with that money, he bought the winery, and the first label he registered was 34. So the origin of the 34 is that lottery ticket that allowed us to buy the winery.
Perfect. That's a good story. That's really good. All right, let's taste the lucky number 34.
But the 34, it might be very close to the latitude anyway.
As
it's around
well,
that.
for
Yeah,
sure, yes.
It's
yes.
about that. Now,
Yes.
what, Enrique, what do you call the vineyard with an H?
Well, because that label, that particular label is for Brazil. It's for our, it's for
okay.
Brazil market.
Okay.
Because yes, they use that picture, but that's why.
Yes. Okay.
But now you'll get the labels in English. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, but the label is Vino Fino.
No, but we have COLA waivers already on that label, and in English. All the labels that goes to the States are in English.
Okay.
Now that's a sample bottle that use it for this presentation.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you, Ricardo.
Yes.
So this wine, also very nice wine. It's part of the batch is matured in second use French and American barrels, about 4 months, but it's second use barrels again. So it's nice again, respecting the terroir again, because they don't want to or hide. They want to build on that. They want to respect the integrity of the terroir. So the second use really facilitates getting a little less manipulation of oak, but giving it that structure, that mouth, the heavier or the tannic feel that you get from the barrel. So very nice wine.
Yeah, we try to do more old style wines, food friendly wines, and some Argentine wines, as you said, they're kind of overwhelming, very heavy wines, and we try to do it more gentle, more easy to drinks, so that's our philosophy on wines.
Awesome. Thank you, and thank you for being on the call and helping us with the line. These are the wines that we have today. Again, like I mentioned, as my part of this contribution is from an educational level, as far as being a resource for content and helping promote, educate to help you sell through these wines. I am going to put my name on and my email on the chat, and I'm going to let Gabrielle from Lovemark have make any additional points. If you have any questions now, the chat is open. I'm just going to populate it with my email address. If you have questions, not about pricing, but about educational materials that can help you with these wines, I'd be happy to assist you. So I'm going to go ahead and type it in the chat right now. But in the meantime, the chat is open if anyone has any questions. Yes.
Yes, good afternoon. The Vino Fino 34, I have vintage 2021. Is that and the bottle? I mean, the what you had is a 2018. So 2021 is correct.
2021, yeah, 2021 is correct.
Okay.
What happens, to be honest, sometimes when they're doing, if there's little changes from vintage to vintage, they just forget to update that information. Sometimes they use because it's very similar the way they're making the wine, so they just forget to update that, or someone putting an input error.
Thank you for clearing this up.
No problem.
Thank you.
I think another point from Mendoza, from Argentina in general, that our weather in Mendoza, in Cuyo region, is pretty steady. So we do not have great change vintage to vintage as might have in France or another. The weather it's so change more. So, but yeah, the presentation of this wine is the vintage 2021. Is the current vintage on the 34th. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have any other questions for Enrique or anyone from Lovemark or Victoria from CFI or myself? And if I don't know the answer, I will let you know I don't know the answer and get you an answer.
Well, the first set, this is Josefina. You mentioned the production. What's the production of all these? I probably missed it. From
Yes, the AMANSADO line, that one. Yes, what I gathered, I did some research. The GRAN AMANSADO, the blend is 3,000 bottles, and the AMANSADO MALBEC, it's about 10,000 bottles or 833 cases, and on the YUNTA, it's 5,500 bottles or 458 cases.
And for the others, you don't have that information.
The others, I don't. DESIERTO is a higher production facility. So I didn't, I know I only put, that one I know that I did not put on there. And then actually for the YURRACA, if there's any wineries you want me to find out production for, I'd be happy to get that information for you, for sure.
YURRACA.
YURRACA? Okay.
Just to know.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, I can do that for you.
Thank you, Veronica.
And I'm gonna put it. Josefina, yeah, you're based in Chicago?
Yes, Naperville. We exchanged emails at some point.
We have, yes.
I missed that, you know. I missed
event last week. I know. I was hoping to see you there, but that's okay.
I have a cold. It's been almost 10 days.
I will follow up with you on the side anyway.
Okay, perfect.
No problem. Yeah. Okay, I'll get that for you, Josephine. I do have your email, so no problem. Anyone else? Any information that you need, maybe from the winery or?
Well, just to let you know, we will do the follow-up after this week or even on Friday this week to let you know how we are working. We will not apply import margins to these wines, so you will buy as distributors practically as direct import. We have our warehouse in New Jersey, so it's the main point for the wine industry in the United States. And if you have any question, we are here to solve it.
Hamdi,
yes, thank you. When you do the follow-up, could you please identify the DC market, the DC, Virginia, Maryland market? Mm-hmm. Identify who is selling which wines would help us a great deal, please.
Mm-hmm. Well, in this event, there are only one distributor or only one client per state per day, because tomorrow we will have another trade show with 12 different wines, and on Thursday another 12 wines for different distributors. Yep. So even if you like some of these wines, we can sell it to you through any of these two distributors that will participate from Maryland and Virginia.
Okay, thank you very much.
So just to clarify another point on Gabriel's answer, what we're gonna do is we will schedule a price sheet with clearance price through a distributor, so you can purchase directly at your restaurants.
Thank you. That's helpful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for bearing with. 12 wines is a lot. But again, I left my information if you need anything informational. And then, of course, Lovemark is, doing all the import stuff, dealing with the bottles. But thank you, everyone, for being a good audience. And again, I hope to see you soon.
Hey,
And
thank you
welcome
very much.
Argentinian wine.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
everyone. Thank you.
Have a great day. Thank
Bye-bye.
you very much.
Follow up with each one of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.